Howdy y'all, welcome to Chucktown. Hey you guys, so since Charleston, South Carolina was voted the #1 city in the world last year, I thought it'd be cool to make a video talking about my favorite things to do in the city on a budget, whether it's your first time or your 100th time in the city. So I've been living in Charleston about 5 or 6 years. I went to college here and stayed here ever since. So I have a pretty good idea of cheap things to do, especially if you want to get a feel for the city and don't have that much time here. These are the top 6 essential things to do in Charleston. Now the number 6 thing is obviously the beaches. So Charleston has 3 beaches and each kind of serve their own purpose. I think the #1 most popular beach in Charleston is Folly Beach, and it's really popular with the college crowd, so if you like the whole youthful vibe, they're always having festivals and oyster roasts and all things like that, so definitely recommend Folly. The second most popular beach would be Isle of Palms, which is a very, I guess, family-friendly kind of beach. Lastly, but definitely not least, is Sullivans Island, which is my personal favorite beach. It's definitely where you want to go if you want a nice, relaxing, not too crowded beach experience. Number 5 is something that people may not know about, but Charleston has 2 really cool county parks that I love to visit. The first one is Palmetto Island County Park, and it's in Mount Pleasant, and the second is James Island County Park, and it's on James Island, obviously. So these are both a short drive from downtown. They pretty much feature the same things, so it's a lot of really pretty marshlands, walking trails, biking trails, recreational areas. They give a really good picture of what I love about South Carolina in general. And if you happen to be visiting Charleston during the holidays, James Island County Park has a Festival of Lights, which is a really cool experience where you can drive through and see thousands of light displays and walk through the village and get a nice cup of hot cocoa. So it's really cool, and it's definitely one of the things that locals do. Speaking of locals, if you love food as much as I do, I really recommend you check out some of the smaller soul food joints around Charleston. One of my favorites is called Martha Lou's Kitchen. It is just a short drive from the main downtown area. They have literally the best southern food I have ever had in my life, and this is coming from a guy who grew up in South Carolina. Ugh, I just love it. So number 3 on my list is to go on a walking ghost tour of Charleston, and that's because Charleston has been named one of the most haunted cities in the country, and there's tons of tour companies out there. One that I recommend is called Bulldog Tours. They have a really cool one if you're a more mature person called The Dark Side of Charleston, and it's a mix of ghost stories as well as things like prostitution and some really interesting dark stories from Charleston's early days. Number 2 is the most obvious choice if you're in Charleston, and that is to visit Market Street area. If you only have one afternoon in Charleston, this is definitely my best suggestion. So you have the market with tons of cool local vendors. You have Waterfront Park, Rainbow Row, the Battery. Pretty much everything you associate with Charleston, you can walk in an afternoon. And my number 1 recommendation actually goes really well with the number 2 recommendation, and that is to get a free praline sample. I know, you're probably like, what? But there's like at least 3 candy shops around downtown that offer fresh, hot, delicious, gooey samples of pralines. Even if you've had a praline before, definitely stop at one of these shops and get a sample when they're fresh, because it is an entirely new experience. I definitely hit up these places way too many times when I was a student, pretending like I was a tourist, like, oh sure, I'll try one. So I hope this list is helpful for those of you who either are locals to Charleston or you're visiting for the first time. If you like this video, leave me a thumbs up, and let me know if you want to see more of these travel top lists. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.